Hello friends, today in this video I want to talk about something that is not really very popular and understood as broadly by an average retail trader as technical analysis is or fundamental analysis is or chart reading or screen reading is. I'm talking about behavioral science. I'm talking about trader psychology. How good is trading psychology, if at all? Is it a voodoo science? A voodoo science is a fake science. Many people believe it's much ado about nothing. Why is that? And how good is it, if at all, it is any good at all? In this video, I'm going to share some real life personal experiences, my understanding of the subject. This video is likely to be a bit long. It's divided into chapters. You can split this video into different chapters just as you would any Netflix movie. Pause it wherever you want, watch it at leisure, and try and assimilate the data points that I am talking about. Unfortunately, the subject of trading psychology and behavioral finance is so complex and therefore so mired in mystery that when I was writing my first book, and I was negotiating a contract with CNBC to publish this book, I told them I want a 6-book contract. The one, of course, that you already know about, which came out in 2009, A Trader's Guide to Indian Commodity Markets. It was the first official trading guide in this country. It was approved by the NCDX then in 2017 as a referral guide for second year BCom students in Mumbai University. I said this is not enough. I want a 6-book contract, and the second book has to be on behavioral science, behavioral finance, including trading psychology. I was told that the subject is too complex. Guess what? That was 2007. Even now, when I talk to the media friends I have, and I've been around since 24 years in the media, they tell me, Vijay, we can carry your articles about statistical trading models. But when you talk about behavioral finance, it's going to give our readers a gigantic headache. They're going to skim through the pages, or if it's an online article, they're simply going to swipe away on their mobile phones and go to the next one. So keep it light. Now, I don't know how many people are going to watch this video on behavioral science and trading psychology, but I'm taking my chances here. Now, why is behavioral finance or trading psychology treated like voodoo science? Because it's not been explained well, it's not been dealt with in the right manner. Approximately 100 years ago, in Germany, there was a physicist, Dr. Max Planck. He was a Nobel Prize winner in his subject. Very media shy, he wanted to keep to himself. But invariably, once you are a Nobel Prize winner, you are going to be invited out by fellow PhDs, etc., to give lectures and share your knowledge with them. Now, he would always crib in his car to his chauffeur that, oh, I'm being invited, but I'm not really very happy about it. I'm not enjoying all this stuff. And his chauffeur had a photographic memory. He had this knack of memorizing his boss's speech word by word. So he gave Dr. Max Planck an offer. Doctor, what if I was to wear your clothes and pretend to be you? Remember, 100 years ago, no internet, no mobile phones. So you basically were not very well recognized, and you're going out to other cities to give lectures. Dr. Max Planck would agree, and they would exchange clothes in the car halfway through and go up. Dr. Max Planck would go and sit at the fag end of the auditorium while the chauffeur would give the speech. Now, all is well as long as the speech is going, it's proceeding. At the end of any speech, there is always a question and answer session, Q&A session. Now, if anybody asked a question, the chauffeur was bound to be called as a bluffer. Why? Because he was not really a qualified PhD. Now, you know how he would get away with this? Now, imagine if the lecture was in Hamburg. Now, if any PhD local doctor would ask the chauffeur, Doctor, why did you write this particular thing in your thesis which won you the Nobel? And the chauffeur would laugh and say, I thought Hamburg is a city which has given birth to very brilliant sons. I'm surprised that you have asked me this silly question. Now, out of sheer embarrassment, the questioner would sit down and withdraw his query. Now, that continued for a while. If you read the book, The Art of Thinking Clearly, Rolf Dobelli has written about an entire chapter called Chauffeur's Knowledge. Now, if at all you are listening to a quack who's talking about trading psychology, I'm not taking any names, no offense meant to anyone at all. We are all here to share our knowledge, so please. But if you're going to be taking your data points from the wrong source, obviously you're going to be biased against the subject. So keep an open mind. Now, what is trading psychology all about? How does it reveal anything about you? How does it help you as a trader? This video is all about that bit. Now, the Mecca of behavioral finance, which is the umbrella body of trading psychology. Behavioral science is the largest, broadest subject. Narrow it down to behavioral finance, which is human behavior when it comes to taking decisions about money. Narrow it down even further and you have trading psychology, human decisions when it comes to taking any decision about money, that too via trading and not investing. So you've pretty much narrowed down the funnel. Now, the Chicago University is the Mecca of behavioral science studies. If there's any behavioral science study that has been conducted, it has already been conducted, discussed, dissected, and written about in the excellent archives of the Chicago University's website. I derive a great deal of knowledge, and my thirst for knowledge, all things behavioral, comes and gets satisfied many times by the Chicago University's archives. Feel free to explore them. Now, a study in Chicago University by a PhD prospect revealed that what you do as the first 5 financial transactions in any given day reveals what you are as a personal, not just about your profession and money, but as a person per se. Allow me to explain. If you are somebody who gets up in the morning, gets into a pair of trousers, goes down to the friendly neighborhood grocery store, gets yourself a small carton of milk, makes tea and coffee with it, has a shower, goes down to a newsstand, buys a newspaper. On the way itself, you stop at a supermarket, pack yourself a pre-made sandwich along with a bottle of juice maybe. Go to the railway station or the metro station, buy yourself a ticket and commute to work. Just another routine day, you would say. Hey, you just gave me your entire life story. Guess what? You bought a carton of milk. Very expensive. Had you bought a liter or maybe a bigger carton of milk, it would have been cheaper. The fact that you don't store it in your fridge tells me that you don't plan for tomorrow. If you're going to go down and buy a newspaper at the rack rate, it tells me that you lack financial planning. Had you subscribed to it for an annual basis, you would have got it at half the price, plus a couple of other gifts that come with it nowadays. If you're going to be packing sandwiches and small 200 ml bottles of juice, here again, you're paying 3 or 4 times more than what you would have paid if you had called for a small loaf of bread, kept cucumber, tomato, onion, and ketchup to make sandwiches at home. And that bottle of juice, the 200 ml, very expensive. Keep a liter at home, much more cheaper. And the fact that you went and bought yourself a single day's journey ticket tells me that you do not have financial planning or respect for money. You would have otherwise bought a monthly pass, much cheaper. Traders I have talked to in my club at a very, very casual and informal manner have shared their last 5 to 10 trades with me. And thanks to a little bit of knowledge that I have accumulated on behavioral finance and trading psychology, I have been somewhat accurately been able to tell them what kind of people they are in real life and how they are taking their trading decisions. Are they getting nervous? Are they getting out of trades halfway through out of fright? This is what trading psychology is. Now, why is behavioral finance trading psychology so important? Like I said, the Chicago University is the Mecca of modern behavioral science, behavioral finance, and trading psychology. In if my memory serves me right, you can basically remain assured that I'm very accurate or frankly certain about the event, although I might be a little off about the year. If my memory serves me right, it was 1934 when Chicago University wanted to basically carry out a behavioral finance test, and they issued an advertisement in a newspaper saying, we are going to conduct a test. You are going to be given pictures of 7 beautiful girls, perfectly well dressed and clothed. I'm not talking of skin show or flesh show. Remember, it was a century ago. It was a very different and conservative world then. And they said, we are going to give you pictures of 7 beautiful women for 7 days. Number one, you're supposed to pick up a beautiful girl on each day of the 7 days. And then at the end of 7 days, you have to tell us which girl was the most beautiful out of these 49 girls. 7 sevens are 49. Which girl is the most beautiful out of these 49 girls? And the guy who gets everything right, A, you have to be right on each day of those 7 days, and B, you have to be right about the overall a beautiful woman at the end of 7 days. In case there was a tie, in case there were more than one winner, the winner would be decided by a draw of lots or kind of lucky draw, lucky dip. The guy who won this contest, and there was a caveat to it, you would be given a $10,000 prize money, but the only caveat was you had to agree to come to the Chicago University psychoanalysis room and be subject to question and answer sessions. There would be no injections given to you in your body, no wires connected to your head or anything, just talk. And it would be for a couple of days. Now, $10,000 in those days, about a century ago, was a big lot of money. And fortunately, for the subject of behavioral finance, which I adore, which I worship, which I love, the guy who won this contest was a stock market trader. Now, he was asked, how did you find out which girl was the most beautiful on every day of the week? Were you convinced about each girl being the best looking girl every day of the week and at the end of 7 days out of those 49 girls? Hold your breath. He said, I was not convinced. Now that shocked the students at the psychoanalysis lab at Chicago University. They said, why did you choose them then? He said, look, I'm a stock market trader. When I read the newspaper every morning, I try to picture in my mind as to what my fellow traders are going to be thinking after they read this piece of news and how they're going to pick up the phone, call up their broker. Remember, this was 100 years ago. Pick up the phone, call up their broker, and are they going to buy or are they going to sell? I placed my bets accordingly. I did not do what I felt, that is, choose the most beautiful girl according to me. I chose what any average American Joe would say is the most beautiful girl. Obviously, the girl with the most amount of votes would be the most beautiful chosen. So he tried to put himself in the shoes of somebody else, which is the masses, and won this contest. So they asked him, what did he do about the second part of the contest, which is, what if there were more than one winner? He said, look, I was only in control of choosing which girl was the best. I had no control over how many other guys would also get the answer right. So I decided to calm myself, calm my nerves and focus on what's in my control. I left the ultimate winner to a game of chance. This is what we traders are supposed to do. This is behavioral science trading psychology lesson number 1. You are supposed to be an expert judge of what people are thinking, and then, as per your mindset, either go with the flow or you fade. Fade means go against the flow. This is why I have been giving you MWPL, ticket sizes per trade, the churn ratio, and I've been gently nudging you towards learning new aspects of trading which are not being discussed in colleges by your professors, which are not being discussed in the print media, because like I told you, I'm told, Vijay, keep your articles light. Don't get them too heavy and complicated. Readers won't like to read such articles. That's sad. Obviously, you can't even have a show about this on the mainstream media. It would be too boring. All right. But it matters. To us traders, it matters. Now, how do you gauge sentiments? I told you in my recent video in pro-cyclical markets and how to behave and how to trade in pro-cyclical and counter-cyclical markets. I told you in the 1980s and 1990s, I used to leave my car at junctions of railway stations like Churchgate, take a Mumbai local, keep hearing what traders were saying in the second class compartments about what chatter was going on, especially on Fridays and Mondays. Friday being the last day of the week, Monday being an energetic day when traders were coming back after a weekend rushing into trades. So if one trader is telling somebody else, hey, Reliance lay lo, in Gujarati it means buy Reliance. Pachi ke to nahi bataviyu. Don't tell me later I didn't tell you. Now that builds a mystique. That builds an aura of suspense. Pachi ke to nahi. Don't tell me later I didn't tell you. And if a lot of guys are telling each other, Pachi ke to nahi, Reliance no naam nathi lidu. That means don't tell me later I didn't tell you to buy Reliance. That means there is something happening in Reliance. And sure enough, traded volumes would go up. Then of course, it's not just about one local train compartment. There were juice centers. There was Dwarka restaurant outside the stock market, probably the biggest restaurant outside the stock market, where traders would flock before and after the stock trading hours. And that's where you ask the owner of Dwarka restaurant, what's a hot stock? And he would tell you with a fair degree of accuracy as to what was happening, because he was hearing all the chatter all the time. But today, all that is gone. So where do you get your data? Hey, on your computer screen. That is why statistical analysis is so necessary. Markets talk to traders through numbers. Now, every time a trader picks up his mobile phone or punches something on his desktop computer in a buy or a sell trade, he's doing something. He's leaving his footprint in the digital sands of the electronic market, which is now an order-driven market. There is a bidder and there's a seller, and once their prices match, the exchange clicks a transaction. Now, every time a trade starts to show up like it does, like on this tick list, or like the snapquote window, or it starts to show up on your ticket size per trade chart. It starts to show up on the MWPL, which I share with you every single day, or it starts to show up on the churn ratio. The market is trying to tell you whether you should be buying or selling. So they've become a lot more sophisticated. But now it's a brave new digital world. You seldom get to see the guy you're dealing with. It's all binary. Dits and dots. That's Morse code. So how do you do it? You basically analyze not the words, not the body language of the traders, but their actions. By a snapquote window, by the tick list, by the churn ratio, by the torque charts, by the MWPL charts. Everything happens for a reason. Now in this video, I talked about how traders should maintain a digital trading log and how it can help you improve your trading experience. I stand by it. If you were to share 5 or 6 of your last trades with each of those columns completed and filled accurately and honestly, I can tell you what kind of a person you are, not just in trading, but in your home, in your house. A gentleman's house is his fortress. How you are at your command center, which is your office, and how you are in your fortress. Everything that you do reveals everything about you. Now, now I'm interested in knowing whether a trader is getting sucked into a trade in a counter which has got very high MWPL. Is he getting sucked into a trade where the ticket sizes per trade are too high or too low? Or is he getting sucked into a trade on a day when the churn ratio has exploded? Now, the churn ratio need not be only about futures and options. It could also be for delivery stocks. How do you calculate churn ratio? In Saturday's video, the last weekly video, I explained to you how to calculate the churn ratio. All right. So, that was, of course, for the F&O segment. How do you calculate a churn ratio for the cash market? For the spot market, what you do is take the total turnover, which you will get from your either your trading terminal or your broker can help you out there, and tell him to share with you the MTO. M for Mumbai, T for transaction, O for orange. Tell him to share the MTO file with you. The MTO file will tell you what the total transaction in a spot market was and what was the delivery percentage of the entire turnover. That's exactly like the transaction or the ticket size per trade and how many transactions there were in the first place. So there you have it. I've shared my deepest secret with you, how to calculate ticket size per trade for spot as well as derivatives. So if you're getting sucked into trades on which on days on which there was very high MWPL, very high TSTs, ticket size per trade, the churn ratio was very high, and the stock was extremely volatile when the snap quote window was telling you that the difference or the spreads between the bid and the offer exceeded 6 to 8 tick prices. I would say you're a very indisciplined and very emotional kind of trader who thinks with the heart and not with the head. Remember, we traders are brain warriors. We win or lose our trades with our ideas, with our heads. Emotions are built to make you lose, but ideas are supposed to make you win. Friends, I think we'll call this video here at a pause, not an end, because this is gone long enough. I will record part 2 of this video, which I will be releasing very soon. Do stay with me and assimilate what I have told you in this video so you can understand part 2 even better. Friends, before I call an end to this video, a reminder to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already done so. Click on the bell icon to receive instant alerts about fresh videos being put up out here. And in the comment segment, do let me know how you find my work and what you would want me to record next for you. Also, please share this video with smart guys like yourself so I can reach out to a wider audience. I thank you for your patience in being with me in this video till we meet again in part 2. Have a very profitable day again. Take care. Bye-bye.